Straughn. Good night, St. George North. Good night, Barbados. And certainly a warm, lovely, wet evening to the Barbados Labour Party family. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you know that when you see me mount this platform, you know that we are getting to the business end of this campaign. Because tomorrow is nomination day. And it is going to be very interesting to see who really show up tomorrow to hand in their papers. Because, ladies and gentlemen, this journey that we are all on, requires of every single Barbadian to be on board. And this Barbados Labour Party, having come to office 29 months ago, has demonstrated to all of you, including the constituency of St. George North, that this party, this government, led by the Prime Minister, Mayor Amor Mortley, does not intend to leave anybody behind. And this government will mobilize all of its resources that is available to it to ensure that as this country faces the most perilous of times brought on by the COVID-19 pandemic, that we will first ensure that we can keep you safe, that we can then ensure, secondly, that we can protect the livelihoods of Barbadians in order to ensure that we can get through this pandemic. And we have done a lot, ladies and gentlemen. We have done a lot. But there is still more work to be done. And so I stand here tonight to fully endorse Tony Moore to be the next duly elected member of Parliament for St. George North. Ladies and gentlemen, this is serious business. And I cannot tell you how serious it really is in the time that they've given me. But this COVID-19 pandemic ain't playing, ladies and gentlemen. It ain't playing. None of us, as we started this year, ever envisaged that airplanes will stop flying. Not just to Barbados, but all across the world. Commercial air traffic came to a complete stop. To a complete stop. Now, you didn't hear the government of Barbados. You certainly didn't hear the Prime Minister. You didn't hear none of us complain that the airplanes ain't coming. We got to work to ensure that we can respond, to ensure that we can keep as many Barbadians working as possible. And we came through the hardest part of the lockdown. We have since reopened this economy, ladies and gentlemen. And we want to keep the economy open. So I am heartened to know that Barbadians have taken to heart the very good work that the public health officials of this country have been doing since March, but certainly before March, but certainly since we got the first case in March, to allow us to be in a position where we can come here tonight You're all wearing your masks, and I encourage every Barbadian to continue to follow the protocols, because I'm letting you know up front, Barbados cannot afford another lockdown. And therefore, all of us must play our part to ensure that we can keep things taking over, so that this economy and the people of St. George North, as well as the people of Barbados, can continue to keep their heads above water. So that in these communities across Barbados, that nobody will truly be suffering. Because whatever little bit we have, we must be committed, ladies and gentlemen, to sharing with those who may not have as much as we do. That is who we are. And therefore, as the government seeks to respond to this COVID-19 pandemic, I urge all of you, to continue to walk with the Barbados Labour Party. Continue to walk with the Prime Minister. Because under her leadership, ladies and gentlemen, even at this most perilous time in our country's history, Barbados continues to be singled out as that place where you can come and work, come on a vacation still, and feel safe. And long may that remain so. Now, ladies and gentlemen, political campaigns and elections have consequences. They really, really, really do. And St. George North, as I said earlier, the airplane stopped, we have reopened, things are not back to what they used to be. And I can tell you for a matter of fact that our revenue has taken a significant hit this year. And therefore, as we continue to work to respond to the range of expanded social protection mechanisms that we have to put in place for people, that this government has committed itself to doing and will continue to do, there is something that I know and that I would like St. George North to be able to do. Because I understand that I got 6 persons who paid some deposits earlier this week or last week. And I want to ask the people of St. George North, as I heard Brother Kelman speak just now, with respect to the vote count on November 11th. I am asking the people of St. George North that when they go to the polls on November 11th and vote for Tony Moore, that at the end of that process early on November 11th, I want you to allow the government of Barbados to keep the deposits for those 5 candidates so that we can help raise the revenue in this country. Because none of them, ladies and gentlemen, none of them came into the communities like the Barbados Labour Party went across the length and breadth of this country in response to COVID. Every single MP of the Barbados Labour Party went into the communities during COVID. And we were responding to the very legitimate needs of people who found themselves all of a sudden out of work. Can't pay the rent, can't pay the mortgage, can't buy food. But we didn't do it with any bombast. We went to people, directly to them. And none of these people who are walking around St. George North, none of these political parties who presenting themselves now because there's an election, were there with you in St. George North or anywhere in Barbados. And I say to all of you, ladies and gentlemen, that in of itself should tell you that they're not caring about the people. They care only about elections. And you know that the Democratic Labour Party is famous for that. They're famous for that. And so I asked myself, given what the Democratic Labour Party did to this country, that after 29 months, they have not been able to come to the people of Barbados. They have not learned from the mistakes that they clearly made. And at this very, very, very critical time, they have brought you not just a candidate, but certainly as a party, they have not invested in new talent. Because this economic crisis that now faces not just Barbados, not just the region, but certainly the world, they have not articulated one view with respect to how they will be able to bring back the Barbados economy. They have not articulated one view on what's going to be happening with respect to the debt that not just Barbados, but the entire region and the entire world have had to face in respect to responding to this COVID-19 pandemic. They have not learned their lesson, St. George North. Because if they had learned their lesson, they would have brought a candidate to you who would understand that yes, you are voting for a member of parliament for St. George North. But St. George North does not live in isolation. There's a connection with every other community in Barbados. And if you don't understand how those connections work, how they link with the rest of the economy, how they link with the rest of the region, and indeed the world, that we have to respond collectively and understand the issues. Now, I wish that I could possibly say to the Prime Minister, well, I don't really feel like meeting with the IMF tomorrow, or I don't feel like meeting with the World Bank next week, or I don't feel like meeting with the IDB, I don't feel like meeting with whomever. And that speaks volumes, ladies and gentlemen. Because when we show up for work, we do not always know how meetings will unfold. We do not always know what the outcome will be. But this Barbados Labour Party shows up and represents the interests of the people of Barbados every time. And when you have political parties who would not even turn up for a debate, you got to ask yourself, well, what they're going to turn up for? Because the interests of the people of St. George North, the interests of the people of Barbados demands that we show up every time and put the case to whoever is in front of us on your behalf, irrespective of whatever the outcome may be. And so I asked the people of St. George North, judge them harshly. Judge them harshly. Because if they cannot even come and articulate to you what it is that they have in store for you, what it is that they may have in store for the people of Barbados, then they're not worthy of your vote. And therefore, whenever the debates are held, I know that Tony Moore will be there. Because Tony Moore has always been there for the workers of Barbados. And that is the ethos of her level of representation to date. And no matter whatever the terms are, I know that Tony Moore will be there, not just for the people of St. George North, but for the people of Barbados. So let us see who turns up tomorrow for nomination. Let us see who turns up tomorrow for nomination. And let us see St. George North who turns up for the debates. Representation means that whatever the conditions, you show up and you represent the interests of your people. You don't back off. And this Barbados Labour Party government will never back off of representing the people of Barbados. ladies and gentlemen, now I've known Tony for a long time. A long time. A long time. But I can tell you this. When we met during the first week after we came to office for government to negotiate the salary increase, the Barbados Workers Union were present, led by Tony Moore. And I can tell you that although I know Tony for as long as I know Tony, 33 years now, Tony gave no quarter to me and the rest of the government, along with the unions, with respect to representing the workers of Barbados. And ever since that first meeting to negotiate the salary increase, the consistency with respect to the representation of the workers and the interests of workers in this country, as I have seen in our meetings directly with customs and a number of other issues, I can see the professional approach that she has consistently taken to ensure that the workers of Barbados are well represented. And on that basis, I can say to you, there's no conflict. Tony Moore will represent the interests of St. George North. Tony Moore will represent the interests of the workers of Barbados. And this Barbados Labour Party is mature because at 82 years old, as we celebrated over the weekend, at 82 years old, we understand what it means to be mature. And therefore, at this particular point in our country's history, we need social cohesion. And the labor unions have been a critical part of the development of this country. And at this very critical time, where the government of Barbados is seeking to ensure that people, households in this country, that you can remain solvent, nobody goes bankrupt, that people can keep their heads above water, that we can keep as many businesses open and not failing. And therefore, as we go through this pandemic, ladies and gentlemen, the government will be dynamic and will continue to be dynamic. Because what we introduced in March of this year, as the circumstances change, may no longer be relevant in November. And therefore, we continue to craft a response to meet the times. But all of you know, before we came to office, that Barbados was the worst performing economy in the region. The worst performing economy in the region. Everybody had gone ahead of Barbados. And in 2.5 years almost, with the restructuring that we have done under the Barbados Economic Recovery and Transformation Program, ladies and gentlemen, many of you in St. George North, as well as across Barbados, have already started to receive those arrears of income tax that the Democratic Labour Party had owed all of you since 2010, 2011, 12, 13, all the way down. Many of you have also received the reverse tax credits. So if you're a gas station worker, a laborer, even a hairdresser, working for $200-300 a week, you've been able now to receive that $1,300 for the first time in a long time, because we took it upon ourselves to ensure that we made things right by you, the people of Barbados. And we will continue to do that, ladies and gentlemen, because you, the people, expect good management from the Barbados Labour Party. And we are delivering good management of the public finances and the country to you, as you have demanded. So St. George North, do not second guess yourself. Do not second guess yourself. You made a sound choice like the rest of Barbados in May of 2018. You chose a team that was pulled together by the Prime Minister to respond to the times. And you have seen the results of the hard work of that team. And as we have come to this very critical juncture, ladies and gentlemen, the people of St. George North, equally, you have a decision to make. And when we walk down to the nomination center tomorrow with Tony Moore, and as we continue to canvass this constituency in support of Tony Moore, I want you to know that you are not just getting more, you are getting a person who will fight for your interests, who will continue to fight for the interests of the people of Barbados. Whether it is here in St. George, whether it is in Barbados, whether it's regionally or internationally, you will have a representative that can operate at any level, who is comfortable and confident to fight on your behalf, to fight on behalf of Barbados. Someone who is not afraid to speak truth to power. So that when we ask you to vote for Tony Moore on November 11th, you are giving the government of Barbados a vote of confidence in terms of what we have done so far. And that to know that for the next 2.5 years, you will have a representative in the parliament who will continue the good work of Glenn Clark in this constituency, who will work with the government to craft solutions, because as this pandemic unfolds, ladies and gentlemen, it continues to throw up things that none of us would have contemplated. But I want you to know that this government will not buckle under the pressure. We shall continue to find the solutions which will work for the interests of Barbadians. We will come and let you know what we are doing in your name. We will go to Parliament and make the relevant resolutions available on your behalf. We will do things transparently, even if quickly. We will continue to fight for you. We shall continue to deliver for the people of Barbados. And whilst over the next 12 to 18 months, the journey may be tough, we say to every one of you here in St. George North, as well as across the rest of the country, that this Barbados Labour Party has the right team to respond to this very perilous time in the nature of our history. And we shall continue to perform on behalf of the people of Barbados. And I want you, St. George North, to go to the polls on November 11th and send a clear message to all the others that they must come with substance if they want your attention, that they must come and speak with you if they want your attention, and they cannot hide behind celebrity if they want your attention. Ladies and gentlemen, this is serious business. It is not mock sport. And the choice that we all make, it matters. As I said at the beginning, elections have consequences. Choices have consequences. And as I stand here tonight, I fully support Tony Moore. I wish I could vote for her, but I can't. But I'm asking you, the people of St. George North, to give Tony Moore your 100% support on November 11th so that we can move this country to another level, so that we can continue to deliver for the betterment of the people of Barbados. And I want all of you to continue to follow the public health protocols, follow the Barbados Labour Party. Let us elect Tony Moore as the next duly representative for the constituency of St. George North. Ladies and gentlemen, God bless you and good night.